Breaking out of Hallis Hall right now is not noise, not cheap hype, but a shift in posture that every serious Bears fan needs to feel. For the first time in a long time, this front office is acting like a contender that smells blood in the league and is ready to match that feeling with real moves in the trenches. Welcome back to Bears News Fan Report. I'm your guy on the inside of this new era in Chicago, and tonight I'm bringing you into the conversations, the leverage and the logic behind one potential addition that could flip this defense, protect this 5-3 statement start, and send a message to the NFC that Caleb Williams will not be asked to drag this thing alone. In this video, I'll walk you through why the Bears are in a rare position of strength after that 47-42 shootout in Cincinnati, how the building now separates real contenders from background noise, how the front office views its pass rush opposite Montez Sweat, what the latest clues around a certain AFC North war machine tell us about his future, and why every sign points to Chicago as the team that can bring all of this together if and only if they are willing to pay the proper price. No panic, no desperation, just a clear read of timing. Your rookie quarterback just went into Paycor, traded haymakers with Joe Flacco, and walked out with a game-winning bomb. Your offense finally has an identity, your coaching staff has credibility, and suddenly the window that always felt a year away is right there, cracked open in front of us. When that happens in the NFL, good teams get cautious, great organizations get ruthless. Ryan Poles and this staff know exactly what that means on defense. You close out games in January, not with slogans, but with somebody who hunts quarterbacks on command. Right now, Montez Sweat is that guy. But the tape is honest. When offenses slide protection his way, the rest of the line still struggles to consistently win one-on-one. The Bears generate pressure in flashes, not in waves. And if this team wants to jump from fun playoff hopeful to problem nobody wants in a wildcard slot, they need a second closer up front, a veteran who arrives with production, not promises. That's where the Bengals come in, and where this story stops being theory and starts looking like a concrete opportunity. Cincinnati is 3-9. Their defense is bleeding yards and points. They're stuck in a season that doesn't match their offensive talent, and they've already spent an entire year in a complicated dance with one of the meanest pass rushers in football. You saw it all. Permission to seek a trade, a hold-in, tense negotiations, a rework deal that gave him more money now without solving the long-term marriage. You saw it again at the deadline. After months of untouchable, the asking price comes down, contending teams call, reports of real talk surface, and in the end, nothing moves. He stays, the defense keeps struggling, and the rest of the league shrugs and says, story's over. For anyone actually paying attention to how this league works, that is exactly where the smart window opens for Chicago. When a franchise shows once that it is willing to listen, when the relationship has already been tested in public, when the cap hits get heavier and the results get worse, that door never fully closes. Now flip it to our sideline, a front office with flexibility instead of dead money panic, a franchise quarterback on his rookie deal, a locker room that clearly believes in Ben Johnson, a defense already reshaped around Sweat, Jalen Johnson, Tyreek Stevenson, and a young core that flies, but still needs that one more alpha to turn pressures into sacks, long drives into 3rd and 15, and December games into controlled finishes. I'm talking, of course, about Trey Hendrickson, and I'm not telling you his bags are packed. I'm explaining why a Hendrickson to Chicago move makes football sense, cap sense, and culture sense if Poles decides it's time to slam this window wide open. Look at the profile. A proven double-digit sack producer, 4 straight Pro Bowl-level seasons, relentless motor, violent hands, a guy who wins with speed, power, and counters, who has eaten against top tackles and produced even when the structure around him was falling apart. This is not a lottery ticket. This is plug-and-play, day-one disruption opposite Montez Sweat. Put those two on the same front, and offensive coordinators lose the luxury of sliding protection one way. Every snap becomes a choice between leaving Hendrickson isolated or leaving Sweat isolated, and there is no good answer. That changes how you call coverage. It changes how you defend a late lead like the one in Cincinnati. It lets you trust your front to close games so your rookie quarterback doesn't have to be Superman every single week. With Hendrickson next to Sweat, your 3rd and long menu explodes. Wide alignments, simulated pressure looks, linebackers mugging the A-gaps knowing the edges are already winning, rotated coverages behind a rush that gets home without sending the house. On top of scheme, there is message. Landing that kind of finisher tells every veteran in that room that this regime is not playing conservative, that it believes this core is ready now. Financially, no one is pretending it's simple, but it is realistic. Hendrickson's updated deal in Cincinnati carries a heavy hit and avoided year structure that makes his future there complicated, and that is exactly why his name kept surfacing around the deadline. The Bengals staring at a bad defense, mounting costs, and the real possibility of losing him later for a mid-round compensatory pick instead of resetting with premium capital. For the Bears, with a cleaned-up cap sheet and their biggest commitments tied to actual blue-chip talent, absorbing that number as part of an extension that smooths the hit and aligns him with Caleb's window is a strategic play, not a vanity splash. You are paying for proven pressure in the exact years you need it. The projected cost in picks, judging from what's been reported around the league, lives in that late first to second round range, maybe with conditions tied to playing time and production. And that's where our conversation as a fan base gets real. Is it worth it? From where I sit, watching this team every week and feeling the shift in how they carry themselves, I see a front office that has already done the slow build and is now staring at an opening in the NFC North and in the conference. You don't get infinite chances with a rookie contract franchise QB. Targeting Hendrickson, whether by trade if that door reopens, or by putting Chicago at the front of the line if his situation cracks again, is the kind of calculated aggression that separates serious organizations from passengers. On the field, the fit is obvious. Hendrickson's get-off and counters next to Sweat's length and power, with interior rush rotating behind them, means quicker throws, more takeaways, more short fields. It means your young corners can sit on routes knowing the ball has to come out. It means your identity becomes clear. In Chicago, quarterbacks don't get comfortable. That is how you protect Caleb. That is how you travel in January. So here's where I land for tonight. No, nobody responsible is saying the deal is done, but all the factors are on the table. Bengals vulnerability, contract dynamics, asking price already tested, Bears sitting at 5-3 with a real offense and a front office that finally behaves like it believes in its own plan. If Chicago decides to turn all that into one bold move for an elite edge, Trey Hendrickson is exactly the profile that makes sense for Bears News Fan Report to track every single day. Now I want you in this with me. Given the cost, the fit, and the timing, would you go and get Hendrickson to build a nightmare duo with Montez Sweat, or would you hold those picks and roll with depth and development around the current core? Tell me in the comments where you stand. Debate it like the smart, passionate Bears fans you are, because this community deserves to be part of the conversation when moves like this are on the table. And if you want every angle, every confirmed update, and every serious scenario for our Chicago Bears without wasting time on empty noise, make sure you're subscribed to Bears News Fan Report. Turn on your notifications and stay with me, because here you're always going to get fast information, deep analysis, and the kind of honest, passionate coverage that matches the weight of this jersey.